It's 7 p.m. and these are the headlines. The Mauritanian head of state hails the president's swift fulfillment of his commitments relating to supervising the Mauritanian medical crew while inspecting the joint hospital specialized in kidney transplantation. The Constitutional Court receives a fifth appeal and keeps examining all the files before announcing the final list of candidates running for the upcoming presidential elections. And the national press is getting ready for these elections with a series of measures to ensure fair and professional coverage of the event. The Moroccan lawyers demonstrate in Rabat to voice their refusal of a draft bill relating to civil procedures. Welcome back, everyone. While inspecting the Algerian Mauritanian joint hospital specialized in kidney transplantation in the capital Nouakchott, the Mauritanian head of state hailed the swift fulfillment of the president's commitments in terms of supervising the Mauritanian medical staff. More insights with Najh Tayar.
The Mauritanian Heart Diseases Hospital in Nouakchott comes as a fulfillment of the president's commitment made with his Mauritanian counterpart, Mohamed Ould Sheikh Al Ghazawani, on the Gas Forum sidelines, which aims to consolidate cooperation between the two brotherly countries, especially in the public health sector. This Algerian-Mauritanian joint medical team performs complicated surgeries, including kidney transplant surgeries, and the Mauritanian president visited the Algerian medical delegation and hailed the swift implementation of the President of the Republic's commitments.
It was implemented very quickly, thanks to the President Abdelmajid Tebboune, who pledged to fulfill this project immediately, and he honored his promise in a swift manner.
Both presidents have ordered the start of surgery's performance, all in order to start achieving the health goals set in the brotherly country Mauritania.
This hospital has become operational in a swift way, and all the needed equipment was provided. In the period of 2 years, every 2 months, the team will be changed until we make sure that our training is over.
The Mauritanian president praised the medical team's effort, confirming his trust in the Algerian competences and experience being transferred to the Mauritanian medical crew.
Presidential elections of the 7th of September. So far, the Constitutional Court has received 5 appeals filed by candidates rejected by the Independent National Elections Authority. The Constitutional Court continues studying all files and examining the subscription forms, and this will take place within a maximum period of 7 days before announcing the final list of candidates to run for the upcoming presidential elections. And the upcoming presidential elections has a particular importance for our nationals abroad, notably those living in France. Let's have a listen to some of them displaying their impressions to our correspondent Hafef Belouchet.
As a researcher and businessman who has been living for more than 35 years here in France, is the minimum of civil responsibility.
Minimum en fait de responsabilité citoyenne.
Alors pour moi, la population algérienne
The Algerian community living abroad has the chance to express itself, and it's important. We can vote from anywhere in the world. It's the best expression of democracy.
Donc c'est vraiment la démocratie qui s'exprime le plus largement.
Major General Mohammed Salah bin Bisha, Secretary General of the Ministry of National Defense, received today at the headquarters of the ministry His Excellency Yoo Ki-joon, Ambassador of the Republic of Korea to Algeria. The two sides held bilateral talks on areas of common interest in the presence of the Director of Military Industries and executives of the Ministry of National Defense, as well as members of the delegation accompanying the ambassador. At the end, symbolic gifts were exchanged. The national press is getting ready for the upcoming presidential elections. To this effect, the National Corporation of the Algerian Journalists set up a deontology charter to ensure fair and professional coverage of the event.
Media sector is a very sensitive field, and its accuracy and ethics are so crucial, especially while covering the various presidential election stages, so as to ensure a correct, neutral and transparent coverage.
In its electoral operation, the national media plays a key role in positively conveying information to the Algerians, especially that the presidential elections are the major political event in the country. The Algerian media must effectively and positively cover the elections campaign using integrity, neutrality, professionalism and the legal regulations.
Signing the profession deontology charter obliges the media to be impartial and neutral in covering the presidential elections.
The signing of this charter is an initiative to be praised and backed, support being the second one after the first, relating to sport journalists, led by the National Union of Sport Journalists.
This initiative is one of the national efforts deployed for the upcoming presidential elections on September 7th.
At the headquarters of the Embassy of the Republic of Indonesia in Algeria, the Secretary General of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Unes Magraman, presented his condolences on behalf of the President of the Republic following the death of former Indonesian Vice President Hamzah Has. This distinguished figure has greatly influenced Indonesia's political scene by shaping policies and crystallizing guidelines from the time of President Suharto to the early 2000s. Magraman reaffirmed Algeria's permanent solidarity and support for the people and government of Indonesia. And after the announcement of the French decision of supporting the Moroccan occupiers' autonomy plan of the Sahrawi territories, the Arab Committee of Solidarity with the Sahrawi people denounced the biased decision and called on the UN to allow the Sahrawis to exercise their self-determination right. Yasin Hamdi.
The decision of the French government regarding the recognition of the autonomy plan for the Western Sahara territories is a serious drift against the international legality and endorses the Moroccan occupation of the Sahrawi territories against the will of the Sahrawi people. The Sahrawi government affirmed that this position is against the principles of the international law and displays today the involvement of France in the continuous aggression against the Sahrawi people. It also confirms the complicity of the French government of all the crimes of the Moroccan occupier against the Sahrawi people. The Collective for the Coordination of the Sahrawi People in France denounced the decision of the French government to support the autonomy plan for the Western Sahara territory by terming it a political, economic and diplomatic error that may have harmful consequences in the region and Europe. The president of the Spanish Movement of Solidarity with the Sahrawi people considers this decision as a proof of France's support to Morocco in the war against the Sahrawi army since the breakdown of the ceasefire by the Moroccan occupier in November 2020. As for the president of the British Association of the Defense of the Sahrawi People's Right, France's decision of supporting the Moroccan autonomy plan for Western Sahara will undermine the United Nations process aiming to decolonize Western Sahara. This decision has once again shown the double standard policy used by the Western countries that support the rights of some people and deny those of others.
Once again, the Moroccan lawyers demonstrated in front of the Parliament building in Rabat to denounce the draft bill relating to civil procedures. The text is considered as a violation to constitutional rights. The lawyers call for the resignation of the Justice Minister and more details with Rania Al-Bahri.
Under blazing sun, Moroccan lawyers invaded the streets in front of the parliament, demanding the review of the draft bill relating to civil procedures, deemed as an offense to the collective intelligence of the lawyers' authority. They were hundreds dressed in black robes, chanting slogans denouncing what they called the legislative shame and regression of constitutional social law adopted on Tuesday by the House of Representatives. This latter was described as catastrophic by lawyers. Their main slogan was legal profession is free and independent, and the minister must leave. Hakim Bakar, lawyer in Qnitra, described this demonstration as a historic march against unfair legislation that goes against the constitution, revealing the social injustices suffered by the Moroccans. For his part, the head of the Moroccan Lawyers Union denounced legal repression in particular through the introduction of provisions that link the right of access of justice to financial amounts, thus creating financial discrimination between citizens and an attack on their fundamental rights. The government, through the Minister of Justice, defends this said draft bill by totally ignoring the demands of the justice personnel, who seem to be determined to maintain pressure so that their voices are heard and respected to guarantee the citizens' constitutional rights.
And Palestinians are still displaced by the Zionist army to face another unknown fate in refugee camps where they are always targeted by the war machinery, notably in the Nusayrat and Barij camps. More details with Bissam Abu Zaid and Maria Perry.
This is how the Zionist warplanes are hovering in the sky of Khan Yunis city in southern Gaza, waiting to attack civilians. Columns of smoke are rising as a result of the continuous bombings of residential areas containing tents housing displaced people in Al Mawasi region west of the Strip, coinciding with other merciless raids. Today, dozens of martyrs were killed by the Zionist war machinery in the Nasser medical complex. They bombed areas crowded with people. Since the early hours of this morning, more than 30 martyrs and dozens of wounded have been recorded in Khan Yunis, coinciding with other hospitals receiving more than 40 martyrs, among them children who are no more than 3 years old, leaving their families with a loss in pain. This is my little niece. She is no more than 3 years old. She is innocent. The darkness didn't hide the daily suffering of the Palestinians who weren't spared from the missiles in the day and are continuing their forced displacement in the night, transporting their belongings from their place of residence to places that the occupation claims are safe and quickly commits massacres against civilians, in line with strategy adopted since the outbreak of the savage war on Gaza.
In Venezuela, President Nicolás Maduro was re-elected to lead the country for a third term. Maduro won 51.2% of the vote, as announced by the National Electoral Council yesterday. The opposition candidate, Edmundo González, obtained 44.2% of the vote. That was it for today's news. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you soon.